Λίγο, αχ να σ' είχα για λίγο. Δεν θα κράταγε λίγο με. Σου το ορκίζομαι. Ακρόβατο μέσα σε σκέψεις και χειμώνες. Κι όπου σταθώ μας φαντάζομαι σε εικόνες. Σε χρειάζομαι εδώ απ' το πρώτο μας λεπτό. Υποφέροντες εδώ και ταιριάζουμε. Λένε πόσο πλοφορώ μαζί σου βράδυ όταν πω. Είσαι σαν ναρκωτικό, σε χρειάζομαι. Λίγο, αχ να σ' είχα για λίγο. Δεν θα κράταγε λίγο με. Σου το ορκίζομαι. Λίγο και δεν θέλω να φύγω. Στο κορμί σου βυθίζομαι και ζαλίζομαι. Λίγο, αχ να σ' είχα για λίγο. Δεν θα κράταγε λίγο με. Σου το ορκίζομαι. Λίγο και δεν θέλω να φύγω. Στο κορμί σου βυθίζομαι και ζαλίζομαι. Είναι τρελό, στα όνειρα μου είμαι μαζί σου. Κι όταν ξυπνώ νιώθω ακόμα το κορμί σου. Σε χρειάζομαι εδώ απ' το πρώτο μας λεπτό. Υποφέροντες εδώ και ταιριάζουμε. Λένε πόσο πλοφορώ μαζί σου βράδυ όταν πω. Είσαι σαν ναρκωτικό, σε χρειάζομαι. Λίγο, αχ να σ' είχα για λίγο. Δεν θα κράταγε λίγο, ναι. Σου το...
Alright guys, this is Sriman Veerabaja and we are here to talk about the great Xander Zayas, proving that he is levels and levels and levels above the rest of 154 pounds. This is easy work. This is light work. You know, him versus Burrow, he showed that he was a tough fighter. You know, we knew Burrow was a tough fighter. You know, I told everyone Burrow was a tough fighter. You know, and Burrow and Xander, they had a lot of respect between each other before this fight. And, you know, it was good to see, you know, great sportsmanship after the fight, you know, and Burrow, you know, giving Xander his props after the bout. That's all we could ask for. You know, I can't say that other fights really superseded expectations. I think one fight, a big upset, you know, was my guy William Skoll getting knocked out by Jacob Bank. And that right there was a very, very crazy upset yesterday for me. But, you know, Jacob Bank, you know, he proved to me that, you know, he put in good work. And, you know, I have to give him his props, man. Denmark has another pretty dangerous fighter on their hands. And, you know, you don't see too many fighters coming out of Denmark as the past, 15 years or so. You know, ever since, Mikkel Kessler kind of faded off into his retirement. So, but anyways, this show here is mainly about the great Xander Zayas putting on a great show last night against the Boss Peru. You know, he established his jab. Yeah, matter of fact, I think he hurt his jab hand, his left hand, in the 9th round. But he still made adjustments, and yeah, he kind of got close a little bit, you know, on a couple of the judges' scorecards. But, you know, that's what you get out of the title unification, you know. Sitting here, you know, hyping up industry plans. We're sitting here hyping up the best, you know what I mean? And hyping up the guys who really show through their hard work and dedication in the ring rather than just promotional flair and everybody blowing smoke up everyone's ass. So, without a shadow of a doubt, Xander Zayas proves that he's levels above these clowns. You know, like what's Virgil doing now? What's Virgil doing now? You know, when Virgil went to go ask after Xander got the WBO belt, you know, Xander said, "Come and see me when you got a belt." You know, so I don't want to see Virgil freaking show up without a belt. Let's see if Virgil can go and fight Fundora now. You know what I mean? Like, quit screwing around. Tell him, find it out or fight me, bro. That's what I tell him. That's what I be telling Fundora. That's what I be pressing. But you can't be doing that if you're sitting there going into qualms or quarreling with your promoter, and you're going on the word of Rick Meridian, your manager, who is trying to contact networks, which isn't a manager's job, that is a promoter's job. So, in regards to Virgil, he could screw around and be put on the shelf for 2-3 years. You know, and that right there is the end of that whole situation. You know, first off, Virgil needs to find out who his promoter is going to be with this whole Oscar De La Hoya fallout situation. We got to be real. We can't just sit back and say, "Oh, I wonder when Virgil's going to fight next." No, this is dead serious. This is dead serious. Because if you're quarreling with your promoter, who's going to fight? Who are you going to fight? Who are you going to fight quarreling like this? Not this hard, bro. Not after those public announcements, bro. So all these Virgil fans need to wonder: is he really putting his trust in his manager, who's breaking all the act, who's trying to play a promoter? Come on, bro. Xander's levels above all that, bro. He don't have time for them trying to pull him out to Vegas and play that game. Play that game over there, Arizona, Vegas, Texas. He knows what's going on. He knows about the bias advantages. He knows about that shit. What's up, Bruce Gass? What's up, Bruce Gass? Just celebrating my boy Xander Zayas becoming unified after all that shit talk, between Virgil Ortiz and Xander Zayas for the past 2.5 years. It's the absolute. It made my weekend complete, bro. It did. Because 2.5 years ago, 2.5, 3 years ago, Xander Zayas went up to Virgil Ortiz, won in a fight. And Virgil Ortiz said, "Come in and see me when you have a belt." So fast forward over 2 years, when Xander wins the WBO belt, Virgil Ortiz goes and sees him. And he says, "Well, I've done all the work getting this belt. How about you go and get yourself a belt, Virgil? Because you never won a belt, Virgil." Right? That pissed off Virgil Ortiz. And for some reason, people think that Xander Zayas is ducking him. Nah, he's just trying to be like, "Man, you can try to punk me, you Indian or you clown ass industry plant." And that's exactly what's going on here. Now Xander's done the heavy lifting at 154 pounds. Now we have the great Xander Zayas. He's doing the heavy lifting around 154 pounds. He has the most belts at 154 pounds. And all these clowns who want to put Virgil Ortiz at the top of the division when he don't even have a belt, bro. Like, I'm talking about the Ring magazine. If you know, you know. Like this shit right here Just clown assery, man. Yeah, they don't know shit. They don't know shit. Virgil Ortiz, uh, putting all his cards in Rick Meridian, screw around and be put on a freaking shelf for 2, 3 years. I've seen fighters do this, quarreling with their promoters, bro, and it's not pretty. It's not pretty. I want to see Virgil fight. That's the thing. I want to see Virgil fight, but he's not going to be able to fight arguing with his folks like this. I promise you that, bro. I promise you that because I've seen what's been going on between Virgil and his promoter Oscar De La Hoya. Matter of fact, Oscar De La Hoya was talking about Rick Meridian, not saying his name, but he was saying it long before it came out that it was Rick Meridian who was fucking around with all the. I already knew who he was talking about, and he needs to get that. He needs to get that situated. And I like yesterday, Xander Zayas. He told the cameraman, show the whole arena here, show the whole arena here to show you that I can sell in Puerto Rico, bro. So he's wanting Oscar De La Hoya. He's wanting everybody to know that he can sell in Puerto Rico, bro. Freaking clown asses, bro. Virgil Ortiz, yeah, he's got all this stuff going for him. But what belt does he have? What belt does he have? The WBC interim? Not even, he's never became a full champion, bro. You got to be real here. I mean, I like Virgil as a fighter, but he's not like that, bro. He wants to go off of the word of Rick Meridian and try to fuck over his promoter and shit. Screw that, bro. Screw that. Xander Zayas is levels above all this shit. He's levels above Boots. Boots is probably gonna wait until Xander outgrows the division. Hey, what happens over there with Monteca and Sobers and TY and all them? That's on them, bro. That is on them. But today we're here talking about the great Xander Zayas. You see what I'm saying? Not real house drag queens of the YTBC. And so, because I feel like when I'm going into those YouTube channels, those Discord channels, sometimes I honestly feel like I'm walking into like the Maury Povich show or Jerry Springer or something like that. There's somebody always bickering about something and waiting until somebody just snaps and has a meltdown and make a hell of a lot of sound bites off it. So that's all I see that stuff really useful for. I mean, when you're doing in this troll game, bro, in this troll game, you gotta be relentless. You know what I mean? It's not about one or two performances. It's about the consistent line of performances. So you could have 2, 3, 4, 5 good troll performances, and then you fall off and go on a horrible, horrible downslope. Yeah. Yeah, man, there's a lot of shit going on, bro. A lot of shit. Yeah, a lot of people got hurt yesterday because of the Teo fight and all this other shit. Yeah, this stuff happened, but you know what happens, bro. Teo looked like he was definitely a bit out of his depth. Yeah, last night. But a lot of people, they're a little bit butthurt that they put their cards in the TO. They probably even put put their bets in, the parlays in, and yeah, it just turned out to be that way. You know, a lot of people were kind of upset because they saw Shakur as a runner and a track star, but Shakur actually landed a good left hand. Actually, showed a good left hand in that fight. I mean, who I had selected, I mean, I selected I had selected Teofimo, but you know, Shakur showed out. You know what I mean? I'm not a gambler. I'm not sitting here trying to gamble like I was like 5, 6 years ago. You know, I'm trying to enjoy the sport of boxing, not trying to promote something that is sinful. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to sit here and promote parlays and gambling and stuff. I'm here to talk about the wonderful sport of boxing in its totality. Uh, in my opinion, mixing it up with, in my opinion, mixing all this up with the whole entire situation. Yeah, bro. Yeah, Shakur, man, he finally let his hands go. You know what I mean? I think, you know, the problem with those brittle hands is when you're metacarpals and all that shit, like you saw with Calzaghe, for example. He had those brittle hands, and sometimes it takes a while for those hands to really develop back. So when you can formulate good punches, right? So Shakur probably it took him a while to really adjust his hands, and perhaps with the right mentorship, you know, he was able to really utilize other people's experiences to his benefit. You know, I mean, if you broke your hand during a fight, you know, or you hurt your hand during a fight. I mean, Xander Zayas hurt his hand during the fight last night, for example, against a Boss Baru. Boss Baru is a tough-headed dude, man. Like, you're not knocking him down like that, bro. That dude's a tall, hard head. You try to hit him, bro, you're gonna break your hand probably. Yeah, he's got that pit bull head, bro. You hit him, bro, just gets punch him on the top of that head, and next thing you know, your hand's feeling a little weird. Yeah, you know what it's about. I knew Baru. I knew Baru was gonna be game. I was trying to tell everybody, guys, you need to watch Xander versus Baru. Coming out of last month, and yeah, yeah, we ended up with a hell of a fight. We ended up with a hell of a fight, like I promised. My gift to you guys was telling you guys about this fight and telling you guys how good of a fight it was. And this right here, like go and watch the highlights. Go and watch the highlights. It was war. It was war. It was tactical, and it was just a wonderful fight. You know, I don't think, like, to be honest with you, I'm gonna go off on a limb. I saw some awards handed out recently about like fight of the year, and I want to make this perfectly clear. How in the hell do you have Connor Ben versus Chris Eubank Jr. the second fight? It's fight of the year. I mean, anybody here, just put it in the chat. Did you honestly think that was a good selection for fight of the year? Conor Benn and Eubank Jr. too? Because I really don't. I really don't think that was. I thought that whole entire selection was dog shit. Honestly, think Miller versus Andy Ruiz was a better fight than that. You know. Yeah, that's my whole point, Hawker. That first fight was good. The second fight was really somebody out of it, man. It was one fighter who was really going through shit and not really making excuses for it, you know. But everybody, all the real fans, all the hardcore fans who actually pay attention to this shit, they know what was really going on. Yeah, this is Xander Zayas. Man, I'm proud of the guy, man. He showed out in Puerto Rico. And, man, you can't make this stuff up. Can't make this stuff up. And Virgil's not on his level. Boots isn't on his level. Matter of fact, Boots needs to go fight someone like, I don't know, like Charlo or something, and see what happens after that. We'll see what happens after that. I don't know. I couldn't get interested in that. Well, I mean, it's because of promotional reasons, Hawker. You know, some people they fanboy. They're so used to watching certain fight cards, certain people. You know, for me, I stay as far away as possible from anything associated with Turkey Al-Sheikh, unless if it's like a G Cabio, you know, who's kind of semi-affiliated. Yeah, I also enjoy Hamza Shiraz. His skill set's all right. The skill set is probably the more dangerous. If anybody watched the fight last night or yesterday between Jacob Bank and William Skull, let me tell you, the way Jacob Bank handled business against William Skull yesterday was pretty good work, and I think it's more than enough. It's more than enough to get him a title shot. So if I heard that WBO belt is up and vacant right now, right? And I heard Shiraz has been having a bit of problems getting a challenger to stick to make this vacant title fight. And if I'm him, if I'm Shiraz, if I'm Turkey Al-Sheikh, if I'm anybody trying to get this done, I would get Jacob Bank versus Hamza Shiraz going, because those two fighters are gonna burn the whole entire building down with the war that they're gonna bring. People's heads are gonna get split off their bodies. Yeah, I don't like Turkey. I haven't liked Turkey since May of 2025. Yeah. Yeah, after a lot of things started coming out post Canelo fight, you know, there was just a whole lot of the post Canelo and Skull fight. There's a lot of things that came out, and it really showed me Turkey Al-Sheikh's true colors. You know, it really did. I was hoping Turkey Al-Sheikh would be someone else in sport, and show that he actually cared about making the best fights. But he's trying to race wash the whole entire sport, and and on top of that, he's using more and more industry plants and backing more industry plants. And I just don't subscribe to his push and changing how boxing works in the United States. You know, that's just how that goes. I don't think that he's any different than Al Heyman, that he's any different than any other promoter or advisor or anything like that. Yeah, bro. So, with all that being said, that's all we really need to say, bro. At least on that. At least on that. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to play some music and we're going to have a little bit of a good time here. And then I'm going to say my closing statements. And yeah, that's what we're doing here. So, stay tuned and let's get on with the show.
बुंदेलखंड से सरदार गोविंद पंत बुंदेले, सरदार बलवंत राव मेहंदड़े, ग्वालियर से सरदार जनकोजी शिंदे और सरदार दत्ताजी शिंदे, इंदौर से सरदार मल्हार राव होळकर।
बोल धरती जयकारा, गगन है सारा गूंजा रे। जग में लहराया न्यारा ध्वज है हमारा ऊंचा रे।
हम वो योद्धा वो निडर, हम जो भी दिशा में जाए,
सारे पथ चरण छुए और पर्वत शीस नवाए।
रास्ते से हट जाए नदियां हो के हवाए,
हम है जियाले जीतने को, हम रण में उतरते हैं। हम सूरज है अंत, हम ही रातों का करते हैं। युग युग की जंजीरों को हमने ही काटा रे। बोल उठा ये जग सारा, जय मर्द मराठा रे।
जो रक्त है तन में बहता,
वो हमसे है ये कहता,
सम्मान के बदले जान भी दे तो नहीं है घाटा रे।
युग युग की जंजीरों को हमने ही काटा रे। बोल उठा ये जग सारा, जय मर्द मराठा रे। युग युग की जंजीरों को हमने ही काटा रे। बोल उठा ये जग सारा, जय मर्द मराठा रे।
All right, then. I just had to get that out of the way. We are back. We are flexing. We are doing what we do best. And we are the greatest of all time. Shriman Virabhadra, Har Har Mahadev. We are going to make the closing statements here. Shout out to Xander Zayas for putting on a great performance. A shout out to his camp. Uh, I couldn't be more proud of Xander. Seeing him come up from the ranks, I mean, man, I'm just so happy for him, bro. And you know, I'm excited to see what's next for him because if it's Kelly or whoever it is, I mean, I'm hoping it's Kelly because I know Oscar De La Hoya or not Oscar De La Hoya, but Eddie Hearn has been trying to press these UK fighters on, and it's going to be real interesting to see if indeed Xander Zayas can secure a Kelly fight. I think it's more than interesting enough, and I do believe that Xander Zayas would once again show levels and show why he's just the best man at 154 pounds. And in my opinion, he's growing and growing and growing even more as a fighter. He's only 23 years old, and he's achieved a lot of greatness so far. And so, with all that being said, this is Shriman Veerabhadra signing out.
चमके सितारे देखो हमारे शत्रु तो सारे हारे जय हो हम वो सिपाही जो है सदा ही रूप शिवा का धारे जय हो हे आज अंधेरे छटे हैं कम हुए हैं घटे हैं कल जो दुश्मन यहाँ थे आज पीछे हटे हैं गाती ये धरती है गाता ये अंबर है गाती है सारी हवा तेरे मन में शिवा मेरे मन में शिवा सांसों में शिवा प्राणों में शिवा हर घड़ी में शिवा हर दिशा में शिवा आज गुंजा हुआ है जय जय शिवा तेरे मन में शिवा मेरे मन में शिवा सांसों में शिवा प्राणों में शिवा हर घड़ी में शिवा हर दिशा में शिवा आज गुंजा हुआ है जय जय शिवा तेरे मन में शिवा
छत्रपती सह्याद्रीचा आठवे शिवाजी राजा आजगा वंदितो तुम्हा शिवराया राहू दे कृपेची छाया आठवे शिवाजी राजा आजगा सारी दीवारें भी सारी तलवारें भी तुमने दुश्मन की अब तोड़ दी है आई थी आंधियां जिस दिशा से यहाँ उस दिशा मोड़ती है पार उतरना ही था ये तो करना ही था ये तो होना ही था सुन ले भाऊ उनको जाना ही था हमको आना ही था ये तो होना था भाऊ हाँ देश भी आज अपना है देश पे राज अपना है अपना ही तो सिंहासन है और जो है ताज अपना है हिम्मत की अग्नि में लोहा पिघलता है विश्वास हमको हुआ तेरे मन में शिवा मेरे मन में शिवा सांसों में शिवा प्राणों में शिवा हर घड़ी में शिवा हर दिशा में शिवा आज गुंजा हुआ है जय जय शिवा तेरे मन में शिवा मेरे मन में शिवा सांसों में शिवा प्राणों में